Hi, and welcome to How to JS videos. And today I'll be talking about object literals and calling functions using them. Just a few different flavors of things that you can do to use and call functions using object literals, and how they can be also beneficial. So I'm going to start out and get straight to the point using a basic function. This function is going to be just adding two numbers. It's going to take num1 and num2 as arguments. And in our function body, we're just going to be returning num1 plus num2. Okay, so we're going to make sure that this works. We're going to log it out. And this function right now is global, and it's sitting in the global namespace right on the window object. So when you hear the term something's polluting the global namespace, this is pretty much what they mean, because it's just basically sitting right there on the window object, and all these things are being attached to the window object rather than something else called a namespace, which we'll get to in a second. So we're going to add using 10 and 10, and there's a little semicolon there. Not that we need to, and we get a result of 20. So this is working. But let's say you have another developer that's working in your team. He has no idea that you've already created this add function, but he has an add function that requires a third parameter that will be a default number added to it every time. So he has an add function, and his add function adds 100 to it. So we go and we save it, and we run this function again, and oh, whoops, we get 120. That's not good, because now this function here has now overridden this one. Because of the order of execution and how JavaScript works, JavaScript will see this function add here, and it will see another function add, and it will take this one and give it higher precedence. And this is the function that you'll be getting. And obviously, this is not what you expect. But we can fix that. We can fix that by using a namespace. So what I'm going to do is, instead of running add directly, we can create a namespace, and we're going to call this namespace, I don't know, we're going to call it addition. Addition is going to be the namespace that we're going to call it, and we're going to use two open and closing curly braces, create a new object, or this is your new namespace. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can directly go into this namespace and put this function called add by giving it a property. That right there is a property of the addition object. And this addition object can also be known as the namespace that add lives in. Hope the words don't trick you up too much. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this function right here and just drop it in just like that. So now we have the add function that is now under this addition namespace. So how do you think we're going to call this function now? Well, easy. Instead of just using add as we normally did, we have to go a layer we have to go starting with the addition layer using this object addition dot property name add. So addition dot add should give us the function that we had before, and it should work exactly the same. So I'm going to change this to a 20, and hopefully we get all 30. Look at that. No problems there. This add function works. It doesn't have any problems getting overridden. As a matter of fact, I want to add 300 to my default case. So this should be 330 now. And none of these will have any effect on my function here because I am protected. I am in a protected variable space called addition. So I'm going to save this and run this, and I get 330. Another thing about this cool or weird about these namespaces is that you can also call them using what looks like array notation, but it's just another way to access an a property of an object using a subscript. So you just add this right here, and those quotes are going to be needed as well. So now we're getting the property add from addition. So now you're already in here. You're now looking at this in code. So now to call the function add, we'd have to add these two parentheses, just like you see that are already here, and give it uh, arguments. Let's say 30 and 30. And as weird as this syntax looks, this should still work for us. So let's save it, build it, and we get 360. It's still using this value here. And let's take it out, and we should get 60. Not bad, huh? Don't need these guys anymore. So now it looks a lot cleaner. This is a protected variable space. This is a namespace. So this is addition. You can do again addition dot add, and it will work exactly the same. Addition dot add. You can also use an immediately invoked function expression and get the same results here. By wrapping this in parentheses, this will immediately execute this function and assign the value back to this add property of the addition object or the addition namespace. So I'm going to, instead of putting our 30 and 30 over here like we did before, we can just grab that and put that in parens right here. It's a weird looking syntax, but this is the value that these are the params that I'm passing in, and this value will be stored immediately back into the add. So right here, I don't need to use parentheses because I've already executed it over here. I'm just getting the value that is stored in it now. So I'm going to change this to like a 30 and like 80. And we should get 110, and we do. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So this may look a little weird, but if you just, if you take a look at it, it's really not that tough. A lot of words are used and thrown around in JavaScript to confuse you, but it's really not that bad. So again, this function can be called a number of different ways. I want to just get rid of these curly braces, these parentheses, and this is just another normal function. And if I took this name away, it'd still be the same thing. 30, 80, 40, 80, doesn't matter. It's still going to work. 120. If I put a name here, it doesn't matter. I could put, who knows, Johnny. It's still going to work because I'm calling it by its property name right here. I'm going to call Johnny whatever. Whatever the number is, it's still going to work. So I hope this was a little bit helpful. It's just a couple of different flavors that can be used. There are a lot of things about objects that I did not go over here, but there will be many videos giving you these things piece by piece. And I hope you enjoyed. And I hope it was straight to the point.